Now 3 of us are gone.
Why'd you bring us here? Every moment now. You don't have a choice. The only thing you can choose is what you're risking it for. I can let these people feel better and hang on a little bit longer. I can save lives. That's reason enough to risk mine.
They started coming. In the congregation.
Hi, everybody. They call me the Governor, and I'm here with this wonderful crew of people to talk about the last episode of Fear the Walking Dead, Handle with Care. Something I wish my Amazon driver would do more often. Now, before we get into this episode, I would like to thank Wizard World for hosting us on this wonderful panel, and definitely go to wizardworld.com to check out their paid virtual experiences and upcoming panels in their different nostalgia and horror series. And coming pretty soon, I hear there's another series, but I'm not going to say anything more about that because I don't want anyone to hunt me down. That's happened before. So, but you're not here to talk about those panels. You don't care about celebs, you care about us because we are the famous ones, right, guys? So we are going to talk about Fear the Walking Dead, and we're going to quickly go around. And Jaz, tell everybody about yourself.
Hi, I'm Jaz, and I basically work social media here at Wizard World.
Awesome. And she kind of likes the Walking Dead a little bit. Michonne?
My name is Michonne. I am just a member of the Walking Dead community, and I make reaction videos.
I'd say I've seen a couple of them. Mama Deadhead?
I am Mama or Sarah, either is fine. And I am also in the Walking Dead community, Walking Dead Universe community. And I do reaction videos and discussions.
Awesome. And I, of course, am the governor, and I am in the Biting Dead community because I call them biters. And I do reaction videos, and I just wait for the day that Rick dies. That is going to be such a joyful day, but that's just me. And yeah, and I'm also on Phantom Spotlight, but we'll talk about that more later. Right now, we're going to talk about this episode, which I have to say, after the last two, everything that happened, it was hard to follow up that episode with something. So initial thoughts. Who wants to start? Raise your hand. All right.
Sure, pick me.
Sarah.
I actually really love the episode. I like the change of pace, but I guess technically speaking, for one person, it wasn't a change of pace. It was like a whole world flipped upside down. So it was nice. It was nice to see, obviously not what is going on with Daniel, but I thought that it was so well put together. And I genuinely just love Ruben Blades. Oh my God. I just want to keep him forever. And Skidmark. Okay.
The return of Skidmark. Yep.
I know. I was thinking of you when we Skidmark. I'm like, oh, Sarah's gonna be so happy.
So happy.
Jaz, might as well your impressions.
Yeah. So I mean, it was definitely a change of pace coming off of the last two episodes that we've had, and I mean, it was enjoyable, but a little slow. And I mean, with Dakota, like I kept thinking, oh, so we're supposed to be cool now, even though, it is what Morgan wanted. But it's like, come on. I mean, I had a difficult time dealing with that, I guess.
I agree.
I don't really know how I felt about the episode. It was definitely a good episode, but I don't know. It was a good episode, but I don't really know. This was really a mindfuck episode to me because we were following it backwards and not at the same time with Daniel. But just you bringing up Dakota, I really need to talk about her. I'm surprised she doesn't know more. Like,
right.
Can you give us anything? Like, help us out here. I'm surprised she doesn't know more. I'm very surprised.
To be fair, she didn't even want to be there.
She doesn't know more.
That's true. But I don't know. I'm surprised. How did you even get into the Morgan situation, save his life and do all of that? But you can't even answer a simple question on who the threat is. Who's coming?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Please give us a name and location.
Though, of course, now, her way of sneaking out was, wiped out. So maybe her, maybe the person who helped her, again, I don't think that she helped Morgan all by herself.
I don't believe it either.
But this episode, yeah, it was odd in the whole, like, whoa, what the hell is Daniel doing in jail? That was something. And it's like, what did he do? Did he finally get Strand back? That is the real question there. I was like, did he do something to Strand? Because I know Johan's going to be so upset if anything happens to Strand. And I'm like,
the same thing.
And he is just like, but he asks for it a lot. He's not the easiest guy to get along with. I did love the fact that Skidmark was returned. But I have to say, and that can't just be me, but every episode, I am hating Sherry more and more.
No,
and more.
I agree with you 100%. I'm so over Sherry.
Sherry get on my damn nerves.
Go away, Sherry.
And we have a latecomer to the panel, Jack, aka Group of Gamers Inc. 194.
Hey,
with a crazy dog.
Yes, my dog knocked my PC out right when I was gonna join. Of course, I'm with you though. I hate Sherry as well. Can't stand her.
So overall thoughts about the episode before we start deep diving into, how we want to kill Sherry. I'm thinking, I have an aquarium now that I can definitely put that head in.
Please add her to it. I would not mind at all.
Yeah.
I feel like
she don't even know what she wants.
I agree with you.
She doesn't know what she wants.
And
I
she's
just
a
don't
little full of
understand how you
herself.
can have more grievances with Jenny than Negan. I just don't understand.
But she believes Ginny when she was like, blaming Wes for blowing up, the oil town.
Like, so we just gonna blame the black man off bat. That's what we gonna do, Sherry. I was so mad. I don't think Wes would do that. That's his name, right?
Yep.
When is the last time he said like 3 lines? I don't know.
I think this was it, but they were like spread out over time.
Yeah.
And it looks
still
like
getting-
Jack is a little frozen. Getting that or he fell asleep already. I'm so sorry we bored you.
Oh, are we that boring? I'm sorry.
I'm getting increasingly upset every episode when people are calling the MRAP Sherry's.
Me
I'm
too.
like,
It's like,
Why?
no.
That's not
it's
yours.
Al's.
Mhm.
Yeah, every time I see it, it's like, oh, they're coming back to give Al her MRAP. Right? Nope, they're pricks.
Every
And
time
she-
I see it, I'm like, so we still ain't gonna give Al her truck back? Like, I'm sure they
Yeah.
know it's hers. Is she
Well,
gonna
no,
ask for it?
someone in this episode was it Daniel that said like, oh yeah, I think it was Daniel that was like, when Morgan comes back with your van talking to Sherry, and I'm like, no,
It's
let's talk
like,
about
yeah,
you right
see-
now.
well, they have possession of it, but it is rather horrible.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
they're
I
just-
didn't get it.
Well, they captured it from whoever on the road, and Al helped them capture it. But they just basically held on to it after that. So it's extremely annoying. I have to say, because they don't deserve it. And then Sherry's like, well, if we share it with you, we have to share with everybody. This is not fucking kindergarten, people. It's not. You can be like, we're sharing with them because we have a deal with them. If you want it, you better, pay up something. It's
Give us half of your shit.
Not half.
yeah. Well,
You
Sherry
don't
could
have
I'm
have
not
learned that
coming
from
through,
Negan.
am I?
I can hear you now. I just heard your voice a little bit, Jack.
Yeah.
So my camera is just frozen then, right? Because I can hear all of you and see all of you, but I thought that I just wasn't working. I'm staring at myself, looking asleep right now. Is that what
Yes,
you all
we
are
were
seeing still?
saying. We
Yeah.
thought we bored you to death.
No, I can still hear you guys and talk, but it says that Zoom isn't responding, but it's clearly kind of responding because you can hear me. So.
The audio is what's important, right? So
Yeah, I mean
Yep.
that works. I mean, at least I'm not like in the middle of a sneeze or something. At least it's not
I was thinking
horrible
the
to
same
look at.
thing.
Yeah, could have been worse.
Try turning your camera off and on again, real quick.
It's doing the spinny ball of death though, so I can't select anything in Zoom right now.
Are you
It's
on a
just sitting
laptop
there.
or a desktop?
Desktop.
Is it plugged in USB? You can unplug it and replug it.
That might be ballsy, but we'll try it. We'll see. All right, give me a second. The
See,
mic
I'm a
should
tech
still
guy
stay
from
fine.
the old IT crowd days. Have you tried turning the computer off and then back on again?
My
Is it-
dog did.
Is it plugged in? It now is.
Jazz, if you can't find more shit, you better make, steal, or find more. This is one
Exactly.
of my favorites in line.
are you looking at the quotable Negan right now?
Mm-mm.
No.
No, I was making sure my phone was off
Oh, okay.
because it will ring. But yeah, I wish
People
they
be
would,
like, "Hey, I see you on live stream. It's great."
I wish they would just give Al her truck back and Sherry can just go fuck off.
Yeah, I'm done.
I'm
Yeah,
done.
and Dwight goes up to her and she's like, "Dee, we talked about this. It's like, get over yourself. It's not about that." Sheesh.
Right? So all of a sudden he's not supposed to have anything to say to you? Girl.
Yeah, it's like he can't express. All right, he unplugged, but that could be that he's going to be back in a moment. We'll see.
So I mean, clearly we missed something in between The Walking Dead and the reunion because I mean, there's no reason for it to behave that way.
I don't think we missed nothing. I really don't.
Well, I
just
mean,
think
I'm
she's
just
a
saying,
bitch.
like,
I think she just like she may love him or whatever. I know she has some type of feelings for him because if something happened to him, she would definitely be upset.
mhm.
But she just don't want to be with him. I feel like that's why she chose to be Negan's wife in the first place.
I mean, yeah.
And left, didn't leave him a note, ain't do shit, just left. Like, what are we doing? Sarah, you're on mute,
you're
huh?
Yeah,
muted,
you're on mute.
Sarah.
Oh no. Oh, okay. I think there has to be some level of self-hatred going on with her. Like maybe it's one of those like I don't deserve anything, so I'm just gonna push everything away.
So kind of
Like-
like a Carol thing there for a while, where she's just like on a
Yeah, maybe
That's-
something like that. Maybe.
That's definitely a possibility because you could tell, like, she feel like it's her fault that they are not.
Yeah,
here
like she's
anymore.
taking it so personal.
Yeah, it's remember when him and her were going back and forth, and she accidentally said Negan. Like the psychological damage in that time period.
Yeah.
so yeah.
All right,
she's-
Jack.
Still affected by it.
I unplugged my other webcam and put in a different one because I think that I've been using that webcam about 5 years now. I think it might have finally met its match. I might need to buy a new camera, but this one's working fine, and I'm not messing with any more settings. My Geek Squad has met its limits for the night. I'm just
That's why I just use my cell phone for everything.
I mean,
don't
I
have to
got
worry
it
about
on standby. I got it charging right now just in case.
So Jack, how did you feel about the episode?
Yeah.
I think this season has been, as of right now, aside from the John stuff, it's my favorite season so far. And the acting, for some reason, seems so much better than it used to be. And I say used to be, but I more so mean season 4 and 5, because the first 3 seasons, there was a very different vibe because it was the start of the apocalypse and everyone was kind of getting used to the world around them. But now they're in the thick of it, or sort of in the thick of it. They're not caught up in the timeline as much, but I felt so bad for Daniel. It felt like he was like my grandpa or something, not literally my grandpa, but I just got grandpa vibes from it. And I'm like, oh, Daniel, I just want to help you, man. But I'm very interested about this other group because for once, I feel like I have no clue what they're going to do. There's a lot of very textbook writing things that they could do with this group, but by the way this season has been going, I don't think they're going to do any of those things. So I'm very excited to see the spin they put on things.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Daniel solely did everything that we were told that he did last episode. I think it would be interesting if they played it that most of the stuff he did have memory issues with, but there was some sort of something going on behind the scenes with either a rat in the group or something. I feel like that'd be an interesting twist, but I don't know if they'll go that far. Might be a little too far.
I didn't 100% believe that Daniel did all of that. I literally the entire episode, all the way up to where he actually admitted that he may be having some problems. I was like, there's no fucking way he sent Grace and Charlie, the 2 people he liked the most in this world. There's no fucking way he sent them to the wrong place. It ain't no way. I didn't believe it at first.
I think the one big outlier for me is the explosion. Like, why would he have done that particular thing? Like the rest, I guess I could kind of see. Like,
well, it could have been an accident, as he mentioned. That could have actually been an accident. But Luciana's like, we thought it was an accident too, and we're not going to make that mistake again. And he's like, that put a seed in his head that maybe, it could have actually been an actual accident. Something happened.
I genuinely wrote it off as that from the start. That was the only thing I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And then everything else started happening, and I'm like, huh.
Just piling up.
Yeah, and they did something like this in the main show back in season 5, where the doctor told Beth to give the patient a certain medication. And if you go back and watch it, the one that Beth thought she heard, he actually said. And I mean, obviously that was a bit of a different situation because he purposely told her the wrong medication to give. But they did that with this too, because Daniel actually says, and you hear it on screen, he tells them where to go, and it's not the caverns. So we're seeing it from his memory and not actually what happens. So I thought that was a very clever way of doing it, to where if it was just a quick side bit of conversation, we may have just missed it and hear, it was low enough that we didn't hear the actual place, but go there, you'll be safe. And it just cuts off the dialogue, but then he thinks back and it like raises vibe and you hear what he was actually saying. It literally told us the wrong place and made us think that something else was going on, and had me real nervous about Grace. I mean, we don't need to lose another baby.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah, and I think that's why they had to do it with him talking, through the bars of somebody, because since they were going to show it as him relating the story, that's how they had to show it, for him saying what he didn't actually say, but what he remembered saying. But how fucked up was it that June was on the other side of those bars? It's like she's the one that they're bringing in for psych evaluations. Really?
I was surprised they found her because I didn't know if she was gonna just go disappear out into the wilderness and live by herself. I think she went to one of the communities.
I have to say, I'm a little disappointed that she didn't just kind of go off by herself and live by herself for a while. Because I don't know, it just kind of seemed like that type of thing to happen for her.
I don't know anybody living in the wilderness.
How much time about do you all think passed? Because I got the impression, that's what I was going to say. I got the impression that about that much time, at least close to, if not around a month, because Daniel's very split open, gashed forehead was pretty well healed considering it was just last episode. So I had a good feeling that it was, and this, now that I'm thinking about it, this season is mirroring season 6 in a couple ways, like how episode 8 and 9 were both these super jam-packed crazy episodes that literally pick up right after each other, and then 10 has a month time jump.
Mm-hmm.
I just kind of put that together now that they had about a month or so time jump between the two, but that was season 6 of both of these shows are so good. Just you can't top it.
No, we were so concentrated on getting Jack in that we have some chat stuff that I need to go through. Ms. Kayla said, LOL, yes, the governor-ish skid mark is with the kids. Sonia says skid mark is fine. That's all she'll say. Phyllis says for the panel, will Strand and Morgan ever really be on the same side again?
No.
You know?
Yeah, there's no way.
I think they're button heads. I think they're at cross purposes.
Is that from last week?
No, this is
I thought Sonia said skid mark is okay. That's all I'm going to say last week.
It might be.
It rang a bell in my head too.
All right, then I need to go further down in this thing. There's way too much stuff here. I need to figure out how to clear this crap out.
Are you looking through the live stream
Here. No,
thing?
I got it.
Or?
I got it.
Okay.
So Ms. Kayla says, hello, Wizard World, Kyle, Jaz, Mama Deadhead, Michonne, and Grove of Gamers, Inc., 194 in parentheses, Jack. Phil says, Sean sent me, I love these Walking Dead panels. Kayla says, oh, Sunday's episode was okay. It seemed kind of predictable to her in a way. I didn't see the Daniel going nuts thing. Sanjeev says, I still doubt the blondie with Victor. Did she say anything in the whole episode?
Nah.
She was like there. She delivered.
She still got that check though. She sat there. She was a perfect in character red shirt, and that's all. That's all.
I was literally
served her purpose.
Something. I was like, who is this woman and why is she restrained?
Right.
I was confused.
Phyllis says, I love Fear now, but I hate that John Dory is dead. We all do.
We feel that same way.
Can't wait to see
I'm the
what
only
happens
person
next.
that's just like, eh.
Miss Kayla's like, Jack. Sanjeev says, I don't get what's up with her. Maybe an ulterior motive. Who knows? I don't think that quiet woman. She was cute, I thought, but I thought she was. If she was in Woodbury, I'd probably be asking her in for a conference. But maybe she's Victor's side piece and doesn't need to talk. I don't know.
She's definitely the governor's type.
Scare says, I don't know. I kind of figured Daniel had something to do with the weapons for some odd reason. Was just too focused on him. And Sanjeev thinks that the blonde did the bomb thing.
She
could be.
I mean, it's possible if it was not an accident. I mean, yeah, there were more people around. I did find it funny that, people looked at Dakota and she's like, why is everyone looking at me? Because you're a psycho little bitch.
Because you killed John.
Exactly, yeah.
You're still
What reason do we have to not look at you right now? Like, you're the least trustworthy person here.
Is it that my favorite part of the episode was as soon as they showed all the vegetables, I was like, oh, about a month or two has gone past. How big that cabbage is. That was all I saw was just produce. I'm like, It's definitely been over a month. That cabbage.
I saw those trees too. I'm like, those are growing real fast. They got some real good fertilizer. If they're
I don't know where they got them
tall.
seeds from, but
maybe they found the same ones that Jadis had somewhere.
There you go.
If you in the previous episode, whenever they're showing the shot like outside, there is like wild cabbage like outside the gates, and I was like, oh, look at that. My reaction, people were like, why are you looking at wild cabbage?
because it's important.
I was like,
Every time they
what?
bring up the water tower
Sustainability.
too, I think, oh, is this where some tie-ins to the other series? I'm like, wait, no, they're in Texas. There's no way.
Now, if there were some tomatoes, might be a bit of time, but
I don't think they got
cabbage will do just fine.
tomatoes.
So Obscura 4 says Daniel is a king. When he mentioned Ophelia, it hit the feels. You know,
Oh,
and I actually think at the end, Victor mentioning, I'm not doing this for you. I'm doing it for Ophelia. I mean, he knew how to manipulate Daniel, you know.
Yeah. Victor has been manipulating since his first scene in this show. He is a master manipulator. I don't think anybody can manipulate better than Strand, and that's why I have a very love-hate relationship with him. I love how conniving and mysterious he is, but he out of the main group that's been in there a while, I trust him probably the least because he still seems like he's in it for himself deep down. But I would hope that at least Alicia, he would, if it came down to it, if he could only save one person, I hope that he would at least save like Alicia or someone close. He definitely wouldn't save Daniel or Morgan.
He would.
I feel like his comment about Ophelia was genuine because, I mean, he straight up said he did not care about Daniel. He's like, I'm not doing this for you. But I think that there is certain things that get to Strand. And whenever Daniel was talking about all that pain, he did have a reaction of like, oh shit, like I really caused that. And he had that whenever he shot him too, because I don't think, unless they were wrestling over the gun, I don't think he ever would have. I mean, Daniel even said as much. He's like, you're not going to do it, because I don't think he's that type. But yeah, I think that he genuinely felt like shit because he was the reason that Daniel did not get back to Ophelia. A lot.
You know, he held her up a little bit. Him from getting her. Strand is a master con artist, but that
absolutely
is not.
Jaz, any thoughts on Strand?
I can't trust him. There's just something about him. I mean,
man, Alicia's literally his niece. That's why he wanted her to come with him. He was like, I'll show you why. But she didn't go with him. But when he mentioned Ophelia, I literally started to cry, and fear never makes me cry.
I do have to say, though, I trust very little people right now. So
it's okay.
Yeah.
I can't
So here's the question, though. Victor broke the rule. He snuck in a gun. I mean, yes, he ended up saving, some people by doing that. I mean, I didn't think that he had anything to do with taking the guns. I'm like, he's not that stupid, but I could definitely see him having, hold out gun in an ankle holster or something.
Absolutely.
Because they didn't frisk people on the way in. Should he be banned from Morgan's community from now on? Well, I don't think you're.
Keep a sneaky gun. Rick did it. Come on, y'all.
That was something I was going through in my head a lot. Well, at work this week, I was trying to think, just ideally, what would be the best scenario for an up and coming community, seeing how these other communities have either risen or fallen with, weapons or internal conflict. And if, God forbid, there was a breach of walkers that wasn't from another group, how would they handle it if they didn't have the guns? Or what if the person that did have the key died and they weren't able to get them? And I mean, they were being somewhat resourceful with the tools that they had, but everyone carrying around a gun, I feel, could also maybe not be the best, but I don't think it would be a bad idea to have some people have them. But then you get into the whole thing of who has them, who's allowed, who isn't. And it's a very complicated thing. And I'm very interested to see how they kind of explore that, because I feel like none of the other communities have really ever fully gotten to explore that before some shit popped off and they needed to just forget all the rules and just go crazy. So I'm hoping that Morgan can finally get some peace and just chill for a little bit. We all know that's not going to happen.
Alexandria had all the guns in one place, and then they had to try to get to the guns when all the biters came in. And it's like, so I think have all the guns in one place, but everyone should be allowed to carry a knife. I mean, it's not as easy to fight human beings with a knife, but you get a bunch of biters coming in, pretty much everyone knows how to stab them in the head.
At this point.
So
yeah, and I'll give you a fighting chance to get to the weapons at least.
Yeah.
Like the guns.
I feel like, first of all, you're in a post-apocalyptic world. You're going to have to use your gun. I'm sorry, Morgan. You're never going to have peace. You always going to have to kill somebody. It ain't going to never be kumbaya, peace and love. You ain't going to never have to kill nobody. I'm sorry. I feel like certain people should have guns, and if you can't get a gun, you better get over it. I'd rather have the argument. It stresses me out so much whenever shit hit the fan and everybody got to try to get to the guns. It gets on my nerves. Certain people should have guns, not everybody.
I see you, Jack, playing with your knife.
Of course. Got it. It's got my name on it too.
Ooh.
Ooh. Mine doesn't have your name on it or mine.
Mine's rainbow, but I don't have it on me.
I got a whole drawer with all the custom handle ones that I have. It's pretty cool. I was gonna have Lucille, but I definitely would put a hole in my green screen if I tried to have Lucille just boop right through the green screen. Yeah. So that wouldn't be
That's
wise.
why I have a green screen wall, but not here.
See, I've tried to pitch that to my parents, and they're not buying it. I'm like, I promise it. People will come when they want to buy the house, they'll see it and they'll be like, this could be something like production. But if it's just some random suburb family, they're not going to want that. They're not going to want a room with 4 lime green walls. It just won't look good.
No, you just do one wall and then you repaint it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you're moving. Sanjeev says he likes Strand, but then he killed the one Indian named Sanjay. So he was kind of salty about that. I can understand that.
That hurt me. I was like, damn.
Yeah, I was real not okay with that. I mean,
I was loving it.
I mean, well, okay. I loved how savage it was, but morally, I mean, I guess I shouldn't expect anything less from Strand because, like I say, he's very in it for himself, and at the time, the people that he was trying to protect, he did whatever he could to keep them safe, even if it meant killing someone that he didn't know. And it was a very savage way to do it. But if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be Strand. Like, I don't know if Alicia would have been able to bring herself to throw someone to the walkers to save her friends. Probably not. She probably would have just tried to fight through it and someone might have died other than sacrifice. But
he was weak in Strand the eyes. Wasn't he the one that was crying about everything and was like, I want to go home? I don't remember. But it was something about him in particular. And Strand was like,
oh yeah. It was Sanjay that was like, he froze up during the whole Walker thing and ran out. He didn't want to help anybody. Yeah, it was him. So he was like, well you're gonna help today.
He was the one that saw it happen first, that saw all of his friends get ripped under that garage door and ripped apart. So I mean, it was a little traumatic, but I mean, if he volunteered to help with a plan and then he bails on the plan.
Yeah, he was a liability. I definitely agree with that. But yeah, Strand is so cold and calculating. And, you prove yourself unreliable. He will find a use for you, not the one you want.
Is death.
Yeah.
Oscuro4 says, I know my Betsy loves Strand, so I'm going to just be quiet on him.
We've had so many conversations about Strand because I just love Strand. When it comes down to it, he made that decision about Sanjay. Obviously, nobody morally thinks that's right, but is anybody going to pick Sanjay over Alicia? Not likely. And then it's just with Janice and John. We love Janice. Janice is great. Her death was awful, but it's also are we going to pick Janice over John? So I think it's just kind of cool to see people make the morally correct decision for themselves and not for others. It's just not something that we see a lot, so I find it fun.
Considering I mowed down all the people from Woodbury, I don't see a problem with the Sanjay thing at all. They ran away from the prison. They deserve what they got,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Sanjay's no better.
You gotta do what's right for you, right?
Exactly. I have to say though, getting back to Daniel, it is not being able to rely on your memory, not being able to rely on your actions, not being certain of what you're doing. I I have a very small heart, as people say, but it was, definitely hurting for Daniel to go through that. The only thing I liked about him leaving was the fact that Charlie didn't want him to, and fuck her. I'm still salty about Nick.
Nick, that was my baby. I'm with you on that one. Nick was my baby. I actually am not surprised that happened to Daniel. I mean, he's lived one hell of a life. I'm like, honestly, I'm not surprised that you got some psychological problems, because you lived one hell of a life, and now on top of that, you in a post-apocalyptic world. Sir, you catch a break.
So just a Reader's Digest, considering I missed quite a bit of season 3, and in my binge, I feel like I missed quite a few things. What initially led to the tension between Strand and Daniel that led to that whole scuffle and gunshot that then led Daniel to be late to arriving to Ophelia and all that? Because there was something, and I forgot what it was.
So after the separation at the ranch, whenever like the whole fire thing, whenever they caught back up, they were on opposing sides again. So Strand was all about like, what can I do to pay off this debt to these people? And Daniel was like, what can I do for this other certain group of people? It turns out that Strand's was to go against the people that Daniel was with. They both had some things. I'm pretty sure that like Daniel locked up Strand on like 2 occasions, like left him for dead or something. Some crazy stuff went on between them. But what ended up happening was Strand knew roundabout kind of where Ophelia had been, and he was like, oh, Daniel, you need to come this way, knowing that she had already left that location. So it held them up. So when they met back up again, Strand had already made a deal with these people at the dam and was like, okay, as long as Madison and Alicia are okay, like we can work this out. They worked out a plan. It was not Daniel's plan. They come face to face, tussle over the gun after the whole Ophelia thing, because whenever Daniel made it back, Ophelia was dead, like literally within seconds. I'm still so angry about that. But yeah, so when they met back up, it was a lot.
Okay, because I feel like a few of the scenes in this episode would have clicked a bit more or hit a bit more if I remembered the why. Like I knew that it happened, and I knew that there were a lot of tensions building up from that, and then of course after that, because if someone does that to you, you're gonna hold some grudges. So yeah. I got that, and that kind of clicked, but I was like, oh, there was a lot of other beef there that I feel like I was missing.
To me, it very much felt a lot like, I'm going to try, looking from Daniel's perspective, it was like, I'm going to try to say the stuff that is going to hurt you the most because you hurt me with Ophelia. Like, I honestly, like, his face obviously is a big deal and it's a whole thing, but I think that he would take that shot 20 more times if he got to see Ophelia again.
Yes, he will.
Oh, of course, yeah.
I think it totally comes down to Ophelia. That's why the whole thing at the end was so like, I cried too. I was just like, when he said Ophelia, I was like,
and even he didn't like Strand. He never liked Strand.
From the jump, he was the person that was initiating a lot of the like, whoa, why are we on this man's boat? Like, I don't like him. Like, he was from the jump. He did not like him from the start.
But when you think about it, what was I more upset with Michonne about? The fact that she took my eye, or the fact that she killed my daughter?
See, now the thing is she left. She was minding her business, but you just couldn't leave.
Yeah, but she was a security risk. I had to snip that in the bud. Ms. Kayla says Nick was her favorite character on the whole show. She loves Morgan, but his all life, his precious BS is annoying.
Yes,
and I agree with that.
Walking Dead character. So when I say like my favorite fear character is literally Nick and Strand and Daniel, like I don't include Morgan and Dwight in that.
Well, yeah, because that's not where they started. So it's I love what they're doing with Dwight right now, though.
Me too.
I mean, I know that I can tell it's not fully fleshed out yet, but I love that he's just getting more and more depth every episode, and he seems like he's obviously the same character, but he seems like a completely different person now, which I love. And a lot of kudos to Austin for being able to kind of depict that, because just his overall, I don't want to say swagger, but his demeanor and like the way that he carries himself now is so different. And I love that I don't quite know how to place or describe it, but it just, you can tell that he's very, very different, and in a good way, of course. But I'm looking forward to him moving on, keeping with that fuck Sherry vibe, and just helping everybody.
That's
It's
Sarah.
birthday.
Bye,
It's Austin's
Felicia.
birthday. It's Austin's birthday. Happy
So
birthday.
Wait, today?
Today is
Oh
his
my
birthday.
God.
I just
That's
looked it up
awesome.
to make sure.
I saw that on.
Did you just know that offhand? Goodness.
Yeah, I actually noticed that like he was on top of something building a roof. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I feel like he's really. It was like, first of all, it's so nice to see Dwight being a normal person, as normal as we can get in the
Yeah.
apocalypse. I feel like we don't know Dwight before Negan at all. We
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
know Dwight, so I feel like Dwight might just be going back to his real self. He seems just very calm and just.
I met Austin
Very
in
level-headed.
person.
that's kind of what I got off of it too, was that he was just kind of at home now. He's, being Dwight instead of a savior.
Yeah.
He's Dwight
Yeah.
now instead of D.
Mhm.
There
It's
you go.
very
That's even
weird
better. I
to
like
see,
that.
though, when you meet Austin in person, when he doesn't have that crap on the side of his head. It's
He
just,
looks
like, hard to recognize.
he looks well. I mean, I met him pre burn face in Chicago back. Oh my God, what was it? 2016, and he looked pretty much exactly the same. Like he just looked all like shaggy is a good, or scraggly, I guess. Just very like a dirty hat, like hair all like messy, just very chill, very relaxed.
We might have
He was
been at the
probably the
same
most-
Walker Stalker.
I mean, maybe, yeah. He everybody was in line. They had to double the line for Chandler, and nobody was over meeting him because we had only had the one episode with him, and no one knew who he was. And I'm like, I know.
Was that the one I met you at?
No, we met in Atlanta, or no, Nashville. We met in Nashville 2 years later, 2 or 3 years
okay.
later, I think. This was like my first or second con that I ever went to.
What was that one? The one where they had the fire alarm in the hotel?
The first one, or the one where I met Sarah?
The first one.
It might have been, because
Yeah.
that sounds familiar.
Yeah. Actually, that was a wacky because Walker Stalker said you can't interview anybody. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And during the fire alarm, I ran into what is her name? Katie. She was actually from American Horror Story.
Alexander Breckenridge?
No, because she
Was
This
it someone that
person-
was a cross between the two shows, or just exclusively AHS? Oh, okay.
just exclusively, also American Mary, Katie.
Oh,
I why am I blanking on her last name? It's like I know her first name.
Catherine Isabel from American Mary.
Katie Isabel. Thank you. I have my assistant poked her head in. I don't know if she's watching or just listening. But yeah, I ran into Katie during the whole fire alarm, and then she's like, "I'll do an interview with you." I'm like, "Well, Walker Stalker said," and it's like they're not going to tell me I can't. So she came like out of
that's great.
out of the convention center and into like the hallway outside, and we just did it right there. And she was telling some hilarious stories from some of the stuff she's done. But anyway, I digress.
Wait, real quick, talking about Dwight, every time I see his face, do y'all even notice how fucked up his ear is? Like,
I
Yeah.
was looking at that last Sunday. I'm like, look at that dude's ear. Look at it.
every time I see the side of Dwight's face, I'm like, get into that ear.
That's like boxer ear times
Ugh. It
10.
like
It's,
goes down a little bit. I'm talking about Negan literally fucked all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
he didn't go straight. He went on an angle
Yeah,
because the hair's gone too.
do you think he can still hear out of that ear?
I mean,
I think
maybe
you
a
can.
little. but not
I
as
think
well.
so. Yeah. It might be kind of muffled because the skin probably melted a bit. Unless it melted in, like if it just melted over and it's just like kind of flappy, as gross as that sounds, he could probably still hear a bit. But
with the scar
I
tissue
don't-
on the inside.
I mean, at least he didn't get his lips or like eyelid. Like he got close. He got like here. So, but it was. Mark had
I
it
would be
worse. I think.
curious. I'd be curious to actually compare all the makeup from when
The
it was
different
on, like,
times he's
viewers-
been on screen.
Yeah, just to see if it's been changed or modified over time.
I feel like it after a while they may have done a process. I don't know if they care that much about continuity, let's be fair, because there's been a couple times with Walking Dead that continuity hasn't really been on top of things, but I mean for the most part it's pretty good. But
Yeah, we see.
Oh
yeah,
there's
that's
Dwight.
And he didn't get out of it.
I forgot how long his hair was. Yeah, it looks
Oh wow.
real rough there.
Mhm.
It goes a lot higher than I thought. It goes completely past it looks like it was over his eye.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
since like it's indented right here, maybe that's why the flat iron didn't get in there because like
Yeah.
you have a socket. So
Dude, he should pull off a haircut like mine, just like shave the rest on the side.
Yeah, like the badass from Hunger Games. Was it Natalie Dormer? No,
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
Strange.
It was. Nellie
It was
Dormer.
okay.
Oh.
What's the
I
girl
can't
from
think of her
Stranger
character
Things?
name,
What's her
though.
last name?
Millie Bobby Brown. What are you talking about?
No. Nancy, the one you hate.
Oh, I don't like Nancy.
I know. That's why I said the one you hate. I know. But I miss. But you know what I'm talking. The one that's in Game of Thrones too. That plays.
No.
She's got the hair.
I know Paula has one now. I've had mine for like 6 years. I was pregnant in Japan. It was hot, and I was like, I'm gonna shave it all. My husband was like, No, don't shave it all. And I'm like, I'm gonna shave half of it.
You were traveling the world while pregnant. That is ambitious. I applaud you. Oh,
have
by
a
the way,
choice.
your hair choice inspired my sister to do it too. She did the side shave
It's
thing.
so much fun.
And
I
she
wanna do
started
all of
dyeing it a bit too.
Yay! I need
But-
to redo mine.
I'm still on. I'm just letting all this grow until I feel like I got my life together. So it's going to be a while. I can put it in not only a bun now, but a ponytail, which that's a new. I was going to
Man
say
bun.
low, but a new long for me now.
All right.
Do the Jesus look.
Should we
I got to
return
get
talking about
much
the
better
show?
shape for that, but hair, yes. Oh, of course.
Because we don't have too much longer left. So shall we talk about anything more about the show? Any more impressions
Who do
or
y'all-
thoughts about what's coming up next week?
Who do y'all think is the rat in the nest? Because I genuinely don't know.
I don't have a clue either.
What's
I don't
the goatee guy with Sherry? What's his name?
Yeah, I can't.
I was gonna say they seem to be making him out to look sketchy, but I think
Yeah.
when there's a lot of times when shows and films do that it is a misdirect, and
It's
he's gonna
true.
end up being someone that's very good, and
Yeah.
but then they could do like a whole thing where it's like they want you to flip a couple times and be like
Yeah.
they're making us think he's bad, but he's really gonna be good, but then he ends up actually being good or whatever. But
You know, I did have a split second in this episode where I thought that it was Sarah solely based on the fact
Yeah.
that like every time someone said something, she was like, yeah, that person's the worst ever. Awful. It's definitely them.
Yeah.
Like it switched to someone else. And she was like, yeah, it's that person. I'm like, is it you because you're doing that?
I didn't know that
Or
she
she's
left.
just not really good. Yeah, she just kind of suddenly ended up in June's camp. I mean, where is June? Did they actually start a hospital? Is that where she went back to? Because apparently
At this
Wendell's
point, they
with them.
better.
She had already had the hospital. That's why she didn't go with John.
Sarah.
Well, John left.
Hospital, and she wanted to establish that as her place.
And
Right, well-
after everything she lost, she better have started it. by this
Well,
point.
Ginny said, I'll give you the hospital. And so, June's like, John, she's going to give me a hospital. I don't want to leave anymore. And that's when John left. I mean, how long was he hanging out by his cabin, doing the whole let me put the gun under my chin thing?
Mhm.
It couldn't be that long for them to, did they be like, all right, well, we know where a good hospital is. We'll just clear it out and start it right away. Or it just seems like she got a hospital. She got it so quick. That's amazing.
I mean, I'm just saying she was in that cell with everybody else. So her bestie Virginia wasn't really doing her any favors.
I did a lot of flip flop in this episode. I was like, okay, because at first, when they were first showing where Daniel was fucking up, when they were like, "No, you told us to go to the caverns," I was like, "This bitch in line. They didn't promise her a happy home for her baby. This bitch is on the bad side." Every time something would happen, I would blame somebody. I blame Sarah.
Same.
I was like, "Did they promise your brother a new wheelchair or some shit?" Like what would be a motive for somebody to cross over to the bad side? Or
When
to
they
I
have
mean, like,
babies.
I mean, Wendell isn't with Sarah right now. I feel like she would have a decent motive if, like, they have him.
We
But
haven't seen him in a long time.
Are these people really bad? I mean, that's the thing. They
Even know.
blew up the oil well area, but they might have not liked Ginny.
I don't know the motive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the
So
motive
it's like,
coming after us?
and I know that, Michonne, you don't watch the trailers for the new ones.
Right, let me cover up my ears. Hurry up.
But in those trailers, it looks like they're
Oh,
just building another community. You know, and they're not like, we hate you, we hate you, we hate you. So, you know, they have their own agenda, no doubt. You can uncover your ears.
Okay.
It's no doubt that they have an agenda. But is it necessarily cross purposes with Morgan and all those people? It's like, I don't understand if they have a plan and what they're doing. How is Morgan and all them folks, you know, interfering? I mean, I could see if Ginny was actively hunting them and trying to take them out. Yeah, they might want to strike at her. They might want to take away her mobility by taking out, you know, the oil town. What did they call it? What was it?
Tank Town.
Tank Town. Taking out Tank Town was a strategic move to make sure that she would run out of fuel and couldn't be hunting them very easily.
Well, I mean,
Well,
who's to
It was
say that
kind
this new
of dumb
group
though, because
isn't?
they lost fuel too.
Exactly.
That could
But I
have helped
mean, Say
everybody.
this isn't like a subsection of CRM that's like dedicated to like weird experiments or something. I mean, we saw them like slaughter a whole community, so maybe they're choking out Morgan's group because they're part of the other group and they don't want them in the picture.
Possibility.
Maybe. I
feel
don't
like
know.
They would have slaughtered everybody and just took over Tank Town. Ain't no way they giving them some gas.
And I'm wondering if Tank Town is totally unsalvageable.
I don't think
That gas is gonna burn for a while. So
Yeah.
once it starts, I mean, because it was like a natural oil deposit, right?
Yeah.
So that's just gonna kind of keep spurting until it's empty, and it's just gonna keeping on. So I feel like it maybe people might still be able to get oil or gas from there, but it might not be safe to do it right now.
messy.
Yeah.
Or they would need to really get in there with some chemicals and put out the fire
Yeah.
and let it cool, you know.
Which-
Equipment, firefighting equipment that's probably not easy to come by.
I mean, we saw in the main show, they had a whole episode where they prepped the firefighter little situation with their little pump buckets, the buckets of salt and all that stuff. And that was a whole
Talk about
thing.
how Abraham and them found a fire truck. I just knew that's what you was about to say. It let me down.
I'm at 8
Sanjeev
county
says,
fairs and one goat rodeo.
Sanjeev says his all-time favorite Fear the Walking Dead character is Nick. However, now his favorite is Alicia.
You.
I don't know. Alicia's just kind of
Did you
there.
say you?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like
I have never liked Alicia.
she's the longest running person on the show,
Yeah, she is.
but I mean, she's just kind of overshadowed by Morgan. She's overshadowed by Strand.
She's there.
She's just there.
Yeah.
She should just go paint some trees. Ms. Kayla says, I can't believe I forgot about John after what happened to him. John and Nick are her favorite Fear characters. And Oscuro 4 says, faves are Liza, Ophelia, and Lucy, and Alicia. So, I don't know.
Luciana. I like her.
I know
Yeah.
Luciana lately has been kind of annoying. It's like, you know, I mean, she was okay before, but now she's like, you know, at Tank Town, we thought it was all accidents and we're not going to make that mistake again. And it's like, can you, you know, be a little, you know, more positive or, you know, be like, you know, well, we should definitely be aware, but it could be an accident, but we should take precautions. You know, don't be
Dude,
like super
I'll be
paranoid.
honest. Everyone in that group that was blaming each other, they were all annoying in the episode.
Yeah.
It was like they were not letting anybody talk. They were all just like, it's you, it's you, it's you. Oh my god.
Of course.
That's probably why no one really stood out as more annoying, because they were all being annoying. So I'm just,
Yeah.
Well, no.
like
No.
everyone's just complaining now.
No, Sherry always takes the trophy
Okay,
for the
No,
most.
Sherry wins.
Everybody
Sherry, she
was
can
She
have
is
that.
always the most
At
annoying.
the table, ready to talk. And then she just
I
started-
was ready for
I'm like,
Daniel
"Here
to
we
like
go."
slam his hand down on the, like, because they were slow mowing
I
it. And
know,
I was
yeah,
like
I
ready
was
for him to
waiting.
like some sort of speech or whatever, and then just I'm like, I love slow-mo action scenes. Cool.
All right.
Cast.
Well, we only got a couple minutes. Let's go around and final thoughts and shameless self-promotion. And Jack, why don't you sort us out? Final thought.
I think that there's no doubt that
And
this
then where
season.
people can find you.
Okay. I think there's no doubt that this season for the majority of the fans is going to be either their favorite season or at least top 2 or 3, because the acting this season has been phenomenal. And same with just the development, I feel like, has actually gone somewhere, and it hasn't been so flat and boring. And we've actually had good villains that have genuinely made us hate them, which that means they're doing a good job. Mm-hmm. So I initially thought I was going to be scared and worried about these next arcs, but I'm almost more excited and intrigued, which I think is a good thing, because we've just had so many dark and scary and terrible things that I think it's going to be a good rest of the season. So I'm excited for that. And I guess the main places that I'm at are Twitter, just at Group of Gamers, and then on YouTube at Group of Gamers Inc. 194. I'm going to be changing that pretty soon to Jack's World, because that's a lot easier and a lot more simple to remember, but I'm trying to get all the socials done, and that takes a lot more time than I thought. But that's pretty much the only places that I'm at right now.
I just got to quickly ask, Group of Gamers, are you like multiple personality? Because, I see one person. That's just what I'm...
I mean, and at times, yes, there's Negan, and also I have an alternate Red Power Ranger personality that I was contemplating bringing out for this, but I felt like putting a ponytail in and getting my helmet on, because I bought a helmet, and I was gonna rock that, but I decided it might be a little too much. I was gonna be just like,
which version of the Red Ranger?
I mean, the OG is of course.
Good answer.
Okay,
but
what about Sam? You don't have Sam in there? Sam Winchester?
Okay, that's true. That
Sammy,
I
Sammy.
Dean, like, I get a lot of flack for when I straighten my hair for Sam, though, so I don't talk about that as much. I think my hair needed to be a little longer for that.
You're doing okay there, Sammy.
Yeah,
I'm on season 7 of a watch through of Supernatural. So
out of the whole series, 6 and 7, I think at least my first watch, they dragged a bit, but you're right about to hit my favorite arc of the show, that they got a big budget upgrade. So a lot of the effects and the choreography get a super, super increase. So I think you'll find that very enjoyable.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. Michonne, take it away. Your thoughts? Yes. Looking all cute.
As far as Fear goes, this is the best Fear has been since Mexico, because Fear in Mexico was just the best. Of course, Mr. Lenny James has a lot to do with that. Mm-hmm. I'm actually excited for the next episodes, because I have absolutely, positively no clue on who the villains are, what they believe in, how they move. Clearly, they like to blow things up. That's all we know. And you can find me on YouTube at Mashawn, but if you want the real good stuff, it's on patreon.com/Mashawn Reacts.
All right, Jaz.
So, I mean, I'm really excited to see what's coming with the rest of the season for Fear. I'm so excited for John Glover. I think we're finally going to actually see him, and it's going to be great. And you can find me at Wizard World, or at my personal Instagram account at Jazzy Diva with 3 Z's.
3 Z's, absolutely. Sarah.
I love this season so far. I think that it just keeps getting better and better and better. I genuinely don't know what to expect from, honestly, any of the characters, because I think put in the right situation, they would honestly do anything at this point. So It's not even down to like villains and like, good versus evil. I think like anybody is kind of capable of anything. I would like to see Grace throw down. I think that would be like really awesome. But
maybe I can pop out that baby.
You use your belly like Patrick uses his and beat some people with it.
No, but I love season 6. I'm excited. As long as we just get like, can they kiss now? Like Grace and Morgan.
Please.
Oh, I knew you'd be. I was asking for it last episode, and everybody had a look when they were saying their goodbye.
Yeah.
Like,
So
Every
I
time
have
they're
to ask-
together. Sorry.
So what's the deal with I'm sorry. So what's the deal with Morgan and Grace? Like who's the baby daddy? That's what I want to know.
Still wears his wedding ring, boo. I don't know. He worse than Rick. Remember how long he still wore his wedding ring? Morgan still got his wedding ring on, y'all.
Yeah, I love that about him.
Yeah, but we don't.
The father.
The baby daddy, yeah, is
He's
unknown.
dead.
Okay.
He's
Remember,
no,
was
he's
her
dead.
coworker.
Yeah, it was her coworker, and he died of
Okay.
radiation.
Okay.
Come on,
Well, she-
really? We know who it was. It was Shane. He's impregnating everybody.
oh yes, he
Best
is.
answer ever.
His seed lives on.
No, that baby's dad is Morgan. That's we're gonna leave it at that. That
Yeah.
baby's father is
If
Morgan.
that
Oh, definitely,
baby,
100%. Yeah.
if that baby ever calls him Momo, I'm gonna lose it.
I want to know what
The baby's
baby
first
looks
word
like.
isn't Dada, it's Momo.
I hope it's Momo. That would be fantastic.
I really want to know what the baby looked like. However, the baby come out looking, then we know what his daddy looked like or her daddy looked like.
Pop out like 2 or 3 years old, just like walking and ready to go.
I really want to see her give birth. Please don't do a time jump.
I don't
Yeah,
think
Yeah,
that-
they've
that
kind
would
of. They've
be-
kind
It looks like she's about to go.
Yeah,
She's like, yeah, she's about to pop.
yeah.
Anyways, I have been the governor. I've been hosting this cavalcade of madness right here, and which is always a pleasure. And you can find me and the series The Governor Reacts on Fandom Spotlight on YouTube. There's also fandomspotlight.com, Fandom Spotlight on Twitter, or just Fandom Spotlight everywhere. And we're doing some great live streams. Tomorrow night we're going to talk about defouling Howard the Duck. So you want to check that out on Phantom Spotlight because that had one of the most awkward love scenes ever in a movie. Cross species, very strange. But anyway, thanks again to Wizard World. Go to wizardworld.com. Check out their offerings of these wonderful paid panels and paid virtual experiences. Plus, they have the wizardworldvault.com, and they have some great artwork and autographs that you can buy. This has been a pleasure, as usual, my friends, and we are going to call it a night. See you all next week after we see the premiere of John Glover. And Governor and his crew out. Say goodbye, everybody.
This is all connected. You show up, and now 3 of us are gone.
Why'd you bring us here?